Welcome and enjoy your magical marketing insights. Hey there, I'm Christine Collins and have for you today some insights around a subject that I think many of us can relate to, and that is this concept of procrastination, overthinking, and overanalyzing. And I think that what happens, unfortunately, a lot of times in our society is that when we do these things, when we procrastinate or we find ourselves kind of overthinking or overanalyzing situations, we can end up kind of judging ourselves and feeling like we're doing something wrong and feeling as if it's some kind of a character flaw, something that we need to fix. And so I'm here for you today to share a little bit of a different spin on this and a little bit of a different take so that we can approach this constructively and in a way that will really help you in your business and with your marketing and messaging. So when we hear the word procrastinate, I feel like it can arouse a lot of feelings of embarrassment or feeling like, oh, I'm doing something I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm scrolling on Facebook instead of accomplishing a task. I'm cleaning out my closet instead of doing my content, and that sort of mentality. And actually, there's a lot more to procrastination than we often think. Sometimes we just think it's like a character flaw or a weakness that we've been sucked into something when we really have other priorities and goals, but a lot of times it's about a lot more than that. Many times procrastination is actually tied to a desire that we have, something that we have been potentially ignoring, like to relax, to have fun, to do something that's soothing, to do something that gives us a break. And so we end up getting pulled into things unintentionally, at least it seems unintentional, in turn avoiding something that we felt that we really wanted to achieve or accomplish. And actually, it's just more layered than that. There are parts of us that have needs and desires to relax, take breaks, have fun. And when we override those by being constantly on the go, constantly trying to achieve, constantly trying to tick things off of our task list, we can end up sort of suppressing those other desires to relax and take breaks. And sometimes they pop their heads up at inopportune moments, and your body or your mind or that part of you will kind of just take the break and unless we allow it. So I definitely encourage deliberate breaks. When you are working on something and you're feeling yourself kind of running out of steam, it's one thing when you're feeling really excited and you're energized and you're really into a project. I find sometimes I can work uninterrupted and just kind of keep going. That's very different than when you hit that point where it's just not working. There's a problem. It's just not kind of flowing for you, and you sort of lose energy, lose steam. And sometimes we feel like we need to just power through that and just keep going despite what our body is telling us, despite what our tired brain is trying to communicate to us. And we try to keep pushing through. And often when we hit that point of being kind of drained, that is when our attention will be kind of distracted. All of a sudden we decide to check email or we decide to pop on Facebook and start scrolling. Whereas if you would just use that intuition, that powerful force that you have to notice that feeling of the energy level kind of coming down and the draining of the energy or things just not working, technology problems, it's just not lining up. It's just not flowing. That's a great moment to just step back, go make a cup of tea, go take a walk, go have a nap, go listen to a hypnosis, go do something to kind of break that chain of the energy that's flowing or that's not flowing, and allow yourself to take an intentional break doing something healthy, constructive, something that you really want to do, and it'll be a lot easier for you to resist the temptation to do some of the other things that maybe don't feel constructive or don't feel like you're using your time well, or even using your time to truly relax. And it allows you to actually just satisfy that desire that was calling to you to take a break, to relax, to take a nap, whatever it looks like, rather than getting yanked off into a direction that perhaps just feels like you're wasting time rather than truly relaxing or using time constructively. Now, when it comes to overthinking and overanalyzing, this is another one where I feel like we often get messages that we need to stop this, we need to stop doing this. There's, just a lot of comments, I feel like, in media and just all around us, perhaps from even family and friends, to stop overthinking, stop overanalyzing, stop using that active mind and slow it down. And while there is validity to not driving yourself crazy with overanalyzing, at the same time, it can also be a gift, and it's a matter of being intentional with it, being intentional about that trait or that desire or that gift, and using it in ways that actually serve you. And one of the things that I've noticed for myself as a solopreneur that perhaps you can relate to is that when you're working on things, there are a lot of different hats that we have to wear. There are a lot of different pieces that have to come together. And as a solopreneur, if you don't have other people doing things for you, you are doing all of those pieces yourself. You are the content creator, the accountant, the marketer. You are taking on all of the different components that go into something. And even a project as simple as recording a video like this and then sending it out in a newsletter involves multiple types of work. There's a creation side of it, coming up with ideas. There's often an editing component, cropping it down, getting it to where you'd like it to be. And then there's also a piece that's involved with scheduling and deciding when it's appropriate to share this content that you've created. Do you want to share it straight away? Is it maybe more relevant for what's happening next week or next month? So there are all these different pieces that are happening, and it does require a brain that can manage all of those different things. Now, in other videos, I've talked about the importance of kind of breaking those tasks down from creator to editor to planner. So that's important too. But I think it's very relevant to observe and to honor and appreciate the value in being capable of doing that type of project that involves a lot of those different pieces. If that same concept were applied elsewhere, it would be called overthinking. It might be called overanalyzing. But because you have the capacity to do that, you can create so much, you can accomplish so much and achieve so much. And so it's kind of a double-sided sword where on the one hand, you can accomplish so much because your brain has the capacity to hold all of those moving pieces and complete that project. And at the same time, it can feel like that same skill, which it really is a skill, can work against you when it comes to, maybe ruminating over something negative that's happened in your life. And, that's when we get into talking about overthinking and overanalyzing. So what I'm here to tell you today is to stop beating up on yourself, because it's not a bad thing that you have that capacity. It's not a negative trait. It's not a personality flaw that you are capable of dissecting and taking things apart and reviewing information and analyzing all of those pieces. It's not a negative trait at all. It really comes down to how it gets applied. And we can make intentional choices to channel that power. And it's a very powerful energy that we possess that other people may even be envious of, how much we can actually do when they see us in motion. But when we don't have a healthy project going on, something that's really constructive, something for our business or in our personal life that kind of consumes that energy, then it can turn itself into something that feels bad to us or it feels problematic. And so I think it really comes down to viewing your skill set in a positive light, recognizing and honoring that it's a skill, it's a gift, it's not a flaw, and making sure that you feel good about how you're using it, that you're using it to your advantage, that you can use it constructively, and that you're never beating yourself up for when it does rear its head in a way that doesn't feel as good, or maybe that other people are criticizing. So just empowering yourself to understand the distinction between flaw and gift, because really everything that they're seeing as a flaw is a skill. it's a gift, and it's something that you can use on your behalf to your benefit in your business and everywhere else. So I hope you found this to be helpful. Once again, I'm Christine Collins. You can check out my work at transformcreate.com. And in the meantime, I hope that you have an absolutely magical and creative rest of your day. Thanks for listening. This is Christine Collins at transformcreate.com.